makeup at least. And Jonathan's like, yeah, let's talk. Feel free to. Can you see that? Cute. Oh god, I'm blind. Yeah, we're not very tall.
We actually aren't. I still feel like a bobble. Okay, so.
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay, I'll just let you go ahead and pour.
Okay.
You pour your however quantity you might like.
That's a classy amount.
It's very summery.
I like it, yeah.
What
It's
is
rose
this?
gold.
Bottega Pinot Grigio.
It's really pretty, actually.
Very pretty.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Damn. Do you know who said that quote?
Miriam Williamson. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
That's a good one. Okay.
It's so good.
Also, cheers.
Yes.
Thanks for being on my podcast. We're drinking, obviously, rosé over coffee, but I feel like
the
that's
end of the
another
day.
fashion. You know what I mean? It's the end of a day. It's a nice summer rosé.
It's really pretty.
Really pretty. Okay, so introduce yourself. This obviously, to those that aren't listening, you're obviously Megan. I know you. We became friends through like YouTube and just meeting in the Toronto area.
All those things.
But feel free to introduce yourself from your standpoint, like just what you do, all that fun stuff.
Okay. Hey everyone, so my name is MEGHAN VICTORIA. I'm a freelance makeup artist and now social media personality, influencer, whatever, content creator. I like that one the most.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Agreed.
It's least shallow.
How long have you been doing this? And like, how'd you start? How'd you get into it?
Do you want me to just go for it?
Just go for
Okay.
it. Tell me the whole story.
It's a long one. Okay, so when I first started getting into all of this, number one, I never thought I would be doing the makeup artist realm. I was very much into sports as a kid, and I played a ton of sports, and I thought I was going to get a kinesiology degree from Santa Clara University with a soccer scholarship and become a personal trainer.
Okay, so you had it planned.
I did when I was like 10 because I was playing like really high level competitive stuff, so I was like on route for like scholarships and like scouting and all that stuff. That didn't happen. Weird. But how I got into makeup, so grade 8, I started like wearing makeup and just like playing around with it, and my skin broke out like immediately. Like I had rashes and eczema, and I was just like, okay, what's going on? I've always been like a really inquisitive child, and so I started researching all the ingredients in makeup, and I realized so much is like cancerous and so bad for you, and I was like kind of scared about it. And being so like health conscious from like a soccer and sports standpoint, it didn't make sense for me to like not care about my skin when I was caring about like what I was eating and how I was working out. So it just kind of like didn't align with me, this whole makeup world.
Right.
So I started looking into mineral makeup, and then I was like, okay, this is cool. And I was looking at it and I was like, this isn't that complicated. Like we've got you have your base ingredients and you have your colorants, and I thought like, okay, this is pretty simple. And then I saw this little kit and it was like make your own mineral makeup. So my parents got me this kit for Christmas one year in grade 8, and I like started like mixing pigments and then would wear like lime green eyeshadow to school, and my principal was like, you're a bad role model, because it's Catholic school. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair, but still, that's so cool.
I would like put little watermelons and like do all those like little things at 13, and they're like so terribly done, but they're cute and they're bring me memories. And so, very long story short, my dad had a business background, so we were able to formulate a mineral makeup business because I wanted to learn everything. When I like get into research, like I want to research everything. So I learned all about minerals, all about recipes, and I created my own mineral makeup line, and that was basically my part-time job all throughout high school, and doing like the fashion shows and doing like the plays and just getting so involved with it. And that's kind of like also how I stumbled into YouTube and like learned just how to play with makeup. So it was totally by accident. Okay. And then I had this product, so I was like, well, now I need to put it on my face and figure out how we apply this on other people. And
so you start making videos and you started to just like build your business from there?
Yeah, so I just started like putting makeup on my face and just thinking it was so fun. It was so creative. It's like dress up. You can just like put on a character and just have so much fun with it. And then slowly but surely I was like, I think I maybe want to do this for other people, because I would have these open houses where people would come and buy mineral makeup, and I'd sit them in the chair and I'd start like putting it on them, and I was like, this is so much fun, and I just
Right.
like fell into this world.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's like so by accident, but so like my purpose. Like my
Right.
purpose found me, and it found me at 13, which is like the best thing ever, because I didn't struggle with the whole like, what am I doing with my life?
Right.
It's really
You
nice.
just like always kind of knew.
Always knew.
And then it was like your second love, which was originally was your first love. Was that like your backup plan? If makeup and YouTube and whatever fell through, were you just like, okay, I'll go back to school and I'll do soccer? Or
That's probably a good question, but I don't think I even got to the backup plan, because I
Right.
was just like, we're going. This is it. Like,
we're
we're
done.
done.
Your bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Like, eyes are set, and we're just going. So,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Considering how long you've been in the whole social media world, obviously you work for yourself, you work from home. Do you find it hard to balance between your personal life and your work life? Like
What's
the balance
personal
between
life?
the two, right? Like
I find that like my work life is kind of who I am. So,
Right.
and I don't really have like, say, a family and kids to worry about. So I don't feel like I need to balance. Like, I feel like in your early 20s, you're supposed to kind of be like so goal oriented
Right.
and just go for it. So that's kind of where I'm like, it's fine. We'll just work 24/7. But if you love it, then it doesn't feel like work.
right.
And as a freelancer as well, like you're on call like 24/7. So you really don't get to like turn it off. So you kind of just like make it a part of your life.
Does it drain you at all?
I kind of have this saying where like my friends will say, if you're not stressed and losing your mind, then you're not happy and you're like not okay. So I like that kind of constant little bit of anxiety and like adrenaline.
Okay.
The adrenaline of just like always working. So if I
Right.
didn't have that, I like don't think I could function well. But I think that also like stems from like my ADHD. Like it needs to be like doing things, moving things. Like if I'm sitting still, like I don't know how to function. Like
So you
it's
don't,
horrible.
do you chill a lot, or are you always like working when you're at home?
I'm always working when I'm at home.
Right.
Like, always planning, even if it's just, like, on Pinterest, like, planning rooms or, like, planning, you know, home decor. It's just
Right.
always doing
Gathering
something.
like inspo, gathering
Exactly. Always
research.
Yeah, research for
Okay.
content or just research for fun, yeah.
So do you think you'll balance like the work life? I mean, like, 'cause I'm like,
No.
I'm curious because I'm like, this is so interesting to hear your side of it, because I do the same in the sense
Yeah.
of like work and balance, and I do find that I'm constantly searching for it. So it's interesting. I've never heard the whole like in your 20s just go for it.
I think so,
Do
because,
you think
like,
in your
the
30s you'll like?
30s, I think you can chill out, but I'm just so goal oriented, and like I need my dreams and I need
Right.
them to happen, and that's like the end of it. Like I'm
Right.
stubborn as hell. So
Like I'm not stopping.
yeah, I'm not stopping until like I don't know what the point is. I don't have like an end goal per se, but I'm just like charging forward, and if I'm not charging forward, like complacency is like the worst thing to me.
Right.
Like I can't. That's
Right.
the worst word.
You're just like following all the arrows and you're going full speed
yeah, just
ahead.
go.
You're like, when I stop, it'll be a sign.
I'm such a quintessential tourist right now. We're just
full
go.
steam. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, considering obviously you do that balance with work and having it all like basically intertwined and you don't stop, you don't chill, how do you keep your energy up then? Like, how do you recharge if you don't? Because that's depleting, right?
Okay,
Constantly be
fair.
in it.
That is fair. I definitely take times like where I do feel drained, especially like after say like a long wedding weekend, I'm like dead to the world.
Right.
I'm like, okay, because you're with so many different personalities, so many different energies. You're like commanding a room, everything. So it definitely drains you. And then just like running from a job to a job. As much as I love it, yes, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I love a good crystal bath.
Okay.
That is my thing. I think when you're drained and depleted, you have to go back to kind of like mothering yourself as a child. Like, what does a baby need? It needs sleep, good food, like nature, like just those very simple back to basics things. Yeah, and so that's kind of where I go. I'm like, okay, I need a nap. I need a nap. I need my bubba, right? Which is gin, but like it's fine.
You're like, it's no longer milk. We've moved to gin. Rosé's
I'm really into gin right now.
Really? Oh, I can't.
No, I'm really into gin and tonics right now. Like,
What?
Because they're like healthy and they're refreshing. And
Okay.
They're like a cute little, I don't know.
Summer drink? Is that
Yeah.
like your, or just all year?
That's definitely was like last summer to now. I think I've just been in gin, into gin.
So it's like a full-time thing now.
Yeah, basically.
So what's a crystal bath?
The best. I take all my crystals, I take my Epsom salts, I have this really cute bath tray from Amazon, I put everything in there, and I take my journal, and I'll just put like meditation music on, light incense or sage, and I just like surround myself and like close the door of my bathroom, surround itself in just like pure energy.
Okay.
And I'm very visual too, so I would like to say like when I have a bath, I feel like I'm just like washing the day away. I'm washing everything away, and then I feel like a clean slate. And then I go put on like really nice cozy pajamas. I do like a skincare kind of something, going back into the beauty and like the Taurus realm, you know?
Yeah.
Put on the fuzzy slippers, and then I'll like sit. And usually I like read, and that kind of like really kind of brings me back down.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And that's what keeps your energy peaked. Like if you do that after a long wedding weekend, do you wake up and just go straight to filming, or do you like ease back into your week?
I most of the time just go straight back into it. Most of the time I go to the gym in the morning too, so that like really helps by just like kind of getting you started for the day.
Right.
So.
Okay. I want to do a crystal bath now. I've never done that before.
Are you serious?
I haven't had a bathtub in like 4 years.
Oh my god, that's a real thing. No one in Toronto has a bathtub. This is why I'm never moving.
I know. Larissa's bathroom has a bathtub, but mine has a stand-up shower, so I'm just like,
you're right. Yeah, true.
It'd be weird to bring my my tray in with my crystals and just like plant them in my shower and just be like, hey guys, as they watch me shower. But I want to do that. Okay, the next place I land,
you can like
I need
feel
a bath.
it. Yeah. Like I like put my selenite like across my chest.
Right.
And I'll like hold. I really like citrine. I really like rose gold.
Rose gold.
I do really like rose gold.
I mean, it is the mood.
That's amazing. But my rose quartz, and I like usually will like hold my crystals, or I place them like on my different chakras or whatever, and like just zen.
And just like recharge.
Yeah, and I feel it. Like I so feel like my crystal energy, and I so feel like the Epsom salts, and I just like, you can just really feel like your body regenerating.
Right. How long have you been into crystals? Like,
oh god, a long time. I always had like really spiritual experiences when I was a kid, and my mom can remember more than I personally can. But when I was 10, we went to like a little crystal store that opened in my like small town, and I was like, why is this little store, like I still look back on it, I'm like, it's so weird that it was there.
That's
but
so
it was
cute.
so meant to be. And so I went, I got a tarot reading, and I felt like I came home. Like I was like, this is who I am.
Oh my
like
gosh,
no, seriously, it was amazing. They talked about like my great grandmother, and like I have her like which one?
I'm literally like covering myself in goosebumps right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I have like my great grandmother. They told me like she's always on my right side, which I like already knew. Like my thing with spirituality is I'm not necessarily like a seer, but I'm just like, I just know things.
Like a feeler?
Yeah, like I feel and I know, and like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Oh yeah, I already knew that. So like they would just tell me things, and it was like I came home, I felt so like I needed to research. I printed out like, this did not save the planet back then, I'm sorry, but I printed out like a stack of like a 3-inch binder all about like crystal children, like empaths, psychics, like everything, and I was like, read it like front to back, and I would highlight. Like I didn't really do much schoolwork as a student at all.
That to me is schoolwork. Like
totally, it's what you care about.
It's your own kind.
And I would just like sit and just like highlight and like research and like sit there with crystals, and I felt like I came home. It was like the most beautiful, amazing experience.
Do you feel like, okay, so that feeling of coming home when you walked in, you were like, okay, was it like a deja vu, or was it just like, this makes sense to me?
Everything made sense. It was kind of like a full circle kind of thing, because when you're little and you're experiencing things that like not everyone else is experiencing, you're like, I'm confused. Like, what's going on? Like,
I'm almost looking for it in something else to be like, okay, is this just me, or is this just something I haven't seen?
It's like, even when someone has like kind of a weird hobby in high school, and then they go out to like a city and they meet people who have it as well, and they're like, oh my god, there's other people like me. Like,
there's more of us.
Yes, exactly. It was amazing. And then there's one girl who worked there. She was my age, and we became friends, and then I would go there like every weekend in like grade 6 and 7 and just hang out with her, and we just hang out in the spiritual store. Like,
that's
just
so sick.
Oh my god, it was the best.
When you feel like you walked in and you just like, you've been there before, do you feel like that was like, what is that to you? Because I know I think of like higher selves or like intuition. Was that to you? Do you think that was you tapping into your intuition, you tapping into a higher self, you just coming like more into who Megan was? Like, what would you say? Because I know you're super spiritual, so like, what is your premise behind it?
When I walked in, like, again, it's hard because I was like 10. I know I was really young, but I still do remember things. But I just remember like my eyes lighting up. Like I was just like, yes, this makes sense. This is good. And it was kind of like my soul was leading me there. Like it was like I needed to go. And the fact that this store was in my town where we didn't even have a McDonald's, but we had this crystal store. Like what? Like so it was just kind of crazy. My mom like saw it on Facebook or something like that. Was Facebook around back then? Wait, maybe not. I don't know. An email, probably an e-blast.
Like newsletters.
Yeah, something like that. And she saw it, and she's like, let's go. And I like just jumped in the car, and I just like remember they told me like, you're always surrounded by fairies. And I was like, oh yeah, they're in a little circle. And they're like, yeah, they're in a little circle. And I was like, just kind of that kind of thing. Like I'm trying to remember. It's just hard to me like tap into.
I guess more so like
yeah,
like even now today, do you still feel that like pull from like almost like you were being guided there, like how you basically just explained that? Do you still get that now? Like do you feel like you're because you're spiritual, so
yeah.
And just because I know you, I know the people watching don't know you that, but like, or you probably do if you've watched us before, but like, do you feel like that is intuition? Do you feel like that is like, because you're very connected to the elements, you're very connected to the crystals, the energy, like, do you still get that feeling?
To me, intuition is more like that sudden, like, idea or spark in your brain.
Right.
Or brain, soul, whatever you want to call it. Higher
Yeah.
self. I totally agree with what you're saying. But yeah, for me, like, my intuition is like a very, like, sense of knowing. Like, I don't question it. But I find what I struggle with intuition a lot lately is intuition versus ego and, like, anxiety. Because the way you react to a situation can be based out of fear, can be based out of truth, and it can be based out of, like, all these different things. And so sometimes I'll be like, oh, but this is it. And then I'm like, wait, but was that intuition? Or did I just want that to happen? Am I trying to manifest this? Like, and you're like, are you tricking yourself almost? Right. And I find it really hard to kind of, like, lay out the cards and be like, okay, what's going on here? Like, who's right?
Right. Like, what is pulling me? Like, am I being, I heard a quote the other day that was like, am I being pulled by love or pushed by fear? And I was like,
yes, exactly.
Like,
I really like that. That's really good.
You said you pull out cards, so
yeah.
You do tarot?
Love tarot.
Okay. When did you dip into tarot?
So I did the oracle cards back when I was 10 years old, and I did them for a really long time, but I had kind of like a mentor figure, and I am a very like new soul. Like I'm an old soul, but I'm also like a new, sparkly, shiny, not kind of jaded by the world yet. And so my mentor was like, don't go into tarot, it's dark, and it is dark, and it's just dark. It can get dark if you're not protecting yourself properly. But last year I took a tarot course and I got certified in it. Right. And that like really helped me because I always find like knowledge is power, and I like knowing things. And if I know things, I feel way more comfortable with it. Right. And so especially with tarot, like that was huge. But I would do tarot cards. I used to take them to the bar actually and just like drink.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
It's like pulling cards
when you drink
on the bar.
Yeah, you kind of remove that little piece of you that goes, wait, I don't know. I don't know. And then you're just like, listen, you're gonna go like here and you're gonna do this. And
it's true, yeah.
Yeah, if you drink and do tarot readings, it is so much better. Like
it almost like opens you up.
It totally opens you up, and then you just like babble on, and you're like, wait, is this true? But you just kind of go with it, and that's intuition. Right. Because you're not stopping yourself out of ego. You're just
you're like, just drink. If you want your intuition, just have a little glass.
Now I pull tarot almost like every night.
Really?
I try not to, because sometimes you get so like
hooked.
You get so hooked, and you're like, I can't make a decision until my guides talk to me. Until then, nothing's happening. Your email is not getting answered. Let's do this.
Okay, so you do use then like this connection that you have to yourself or whatever, how it like, because in a lot of ways it's almost like translating your own messages to yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you use that in terms of even just like moving forward in business. You're like, hey, I don't know what's the decision to make here. Do you consult the cards? Do you consult
totally.
the crystals?
I absolutely do. Absolutely, because you're kind of fighting with yourself. You're like, okay, I want this or do I not? And then it's like to have this kind of very like in front of you situation where you're like, wait, it's right here in front of me. Now I can like concrete, like there's like concrete kind of evidence in front of you. You're like, okay, if this appears, then this means this. Okay, I get this. And then if you're just like fighting with yourself, you're like, but I don't know. And then it's just so much easier to be like, okay, we've got a second opinion. That's kind of what it's like, a second opinion.
And I feel like too, in a way, like pulling cards and stuff, whatever it is, a lot of the times when you see something else, even if it's a person, a card, a sign, you know how they're like, oh, like if this is a sign, like if you're looking for a sign, this is it. Yeah. Like it's almost like it doesn't even have to tell you what the sign is that you're looking for. You kind of subconsciously know, but a lot of times we don't want to be honest with ourselves. So if a card's telling you, you're like, okay, you're right, card, or you're like, no, that's wrong, and then you almost figure out yourself what you wanted.
I flip off like my guides all the time.
Like when you see like signs.
Like I'm like, oh hell no, I'm not doing this today.
Yeah, you're into numbers too. Like you'll message me and be like, dude, I was watching your video and it was like 55555, and I'm like, what does it mean?
Always the vibes. Oh my god, always the vibes. No, I'm so about numbers. I think that's probably how I'm communicated with the most. Okay. In terms of numbers, definitely. Because even like license plates, and I'll just be like, okay, I need a sign. If I see an 11, I'm like, okay, we good. Like this morning, I was like such in a shitty mood, and I got on the streetcar, and it was like number 11. Right. And I was just like, it's gonna be okay.
Like, there it is.
There it is. Good. Like,
did you get into numerology like around the age of 10, like when you were researching all
yeah,
that stuff?
I honestly researched everything. Like I did like doweling, pendulums, like ruins. Like I was like, let's learn everything. And I had like no idea what I was doing.
But you were trying it all on.
Yeah, I just never touched a Ouija board. I still haven't.
I wouldn't either.
Okay.
Like
No,
I feel like that's where I would draw a line too. That's
Yeah.
like, that just seems too, like, completely full intentions there are to do dark things.
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely.
just like, all intentions here are good.
Exactly.
Like,
if you have a good intention going into it, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
But
I
when
agree.
people are trying to be like shit disturbers, I'm like, mm-mm.
No. When you were doing like all this research at 10 then, were there things that stuck and things that didn't?
Like in terms of what I liked?
Like pendulums. Like,
oh, I actually really liked pendulums.
Okay.
The only problem is I got so okay, it was bullying. Now looking back, I'm just like, it's just kids being kids. But it was bullying. And these stupid guys, actually, it's funny. So number one, I made this really beautiful healing crystal rod at a workshop, and it was so pretty. And it had this like long cord, and then I wrapped all the cords in the different chakras, and I thought it was like the coolest thing. And since I was into all the spirituality stuff, like in a Catholic school, I literally spent my recesses sitting with the trees, and I was like, hey Albert, how's it going? Like
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I would sit with my crystals and I'd be like, this is why I have no friends, it's fine. But I was in like a class like 20
school.
I think we could sit with the trees too.
I would have totally been the person that been like, Albert, what's up? And then
No,
like, sat down
literally, there was a
beside
tree
you.
named Albert, and now there's a condo, and it's like really, really sad. But I loved it, but this group of guys, we only had 6 guys in like our grade, like it was a very small group. They roofed all my stuff every time. So they would take my crystal rod and they roofed it. And the weird...
So threw it on the roof.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, what is roof?
Is that a common thing? No, because we had like a really low school, and so all the balls would get roofed, everything, and like, oh my god. So it's so weird though. Over Christmas, I ran into these guys. And we all were drunk, and I had so much anxiety going to this party. I was like, I'm not going. Going. My mom was invited. This is how we went, because like the parents' friends. That, of course. Right. My mom's way cooler than I am. And so I like went over, and I was like, oh my god, these are all the people from grade school. I'm gonna die. I like took my CBD oil. I was like, okay, I can do this. And like walked in, and the one guy's like, Megan, I need to tell you something. And I go, why are we talking? Okay, let's do this.
Oh,
no. He was like, I have dreams every week about something horrible I did to you, and I need to tell you about it. And I was like, is it because you roofed my crystal? And he's like, yes, the crystal. And
he said he had dreams all the time
and
about
we
it?
had this like little moment. And
Oh my god!
It was really cute, but it was so weird, and I was like, this is like 15 years ago.
Oh my god, okay, only because I'm super dorky about this stuff. I feel like that is your guides being like, screw you to this kid that used to bully you. Like, making him dream about it, like dipping into his subconscious, like being like,
and then
you were mean to Megan.
And my mom's like, why did you do that? And he's like, oh no, maybe because I have a crush on her. And my mom's like, because my mom always told me that. Of course, they all tell you that when you're younger. Like, they're bugging you because they have a crush on you. And I was like, this is a lot of crushes.
Like, that's mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
why you gotta be so mean?
Oh my god, I could go on a rant about guys being mean to girls with a crush.
Oh, seriously, yeah. Okay, so I get a lot of questions, but I feel like you've been our spiritual paths have been a bit different, obviously. I feel like you've been into it since you were 10. I feel like I've been into it since I was like in my teens, but definitely not since I was 10. So to people watching, like people ask me this, and I'm always it's hard for me to answer because I feel like I got into it just by following my intuition, just following my gut, just following what felt right. You did the like crazy research at a young age. So there's people that'll be like, oh, like how do you get into these things? Like how do you tap into that? How do you tap into feeling more connected to things like elements and more spiritual signs and like your guides? And
I like that. Okay. I think first, slowing down, and that's so counterintuitive for me to say, but it's so true. Like when you slow down, you take a moment and you start to realize that everything's connected. Like we're all on an energy field, we're all kind of vibrating at different frequencies, but we're all kind of together. And the same thing with nature. Like going out in nature is so helpful. So if you just want to like feel better and get more in touch with just like the universe and earth and realize that we're all kind of connected, it's just going in nature and having a really mindful walk. That is like so helpful for me to recenter. Like going on a hike, I go with my little puppy and we go and I just turn off the phone, turn off everything, don't bring music, and I just listen to nature, like feel the earth beneath your feet, because even when you have like an anxiety attack or something, it's all about like grounding yourself, right? And when you ground yourself, it is about kind of like, what can I feel, what can I touch, and it's all about the senses. So like taking in what you smell, taking in what you taste, taking in and just going through all those things. That's complete mindfulness. You can't think of anything else if you're doing that.
Right.
And so that can really just kind of bring you to center, and then you kind of just like feel a little bit more connected to who you are and to the earth. And I think that really, really helps. And then, of course, you can go into these different like forms of divination, of tarot and oracle cards and all those things. But that's more research, but you have to have yourself at like a really healthy, good place to kind of go into learning about something new.
Right. It's almost like center, anchor yourself
Exactly.
first, connect to yourself, and then see what speaks to you.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good. Damn. I like that. I'm like, the slow down thing is huge. I feel like our world
so
is
huge.
So, and we're so, we expect things like at this, like just instant gratification all the time. So it's like the minute that people want to get into something or learn about something, and I've done it too. Like I remember when I first got my tarot deck, I was like, oh my God, I want to learn this like front to back in like 2 months. And it's like, you can't, you have to feel it out. You have to go slow.
It's true. It's all about time. Like you learn so much more just through different experiences, and like even just with tarot, right? Like you flip a card for one scenario, you flip a card for like the same card for a different scenario, but you start to see kind of the patterns and how everything intertwines, and like then you kind of like get it.
Right. There's a whole section that we didn't even dive into yet, because I also find that you are somebody that's very good at being confident. So I have 2 questions to finish with. The first one is, because you are very confident, like you're very like, I just feel like you have a lot of like you're very energetic, but you have a lot of confident energy and like bubbly energy and fun energy. So how do you find, like, let me rephrase this, in terms of following your intuition, just being yourself and like speaking your truth, what would be your piece of advice to do so in a confident way? Like how do you feel confident in yourself?
I think confidence goes hand in hand with authenticity. And for me, being authentic has like been my life mission statement. I've always kind of just done what I want, and not in a way that's harmful to other people, but just you are confident with your yeses and you're confident with your nos. You do what you want, you put up boundaries. And I think that's something I'm actually learning more so now, is putting up boundaries, and I do think that's so important. But with confidence, I just think, it's like having that authentic purpose in your life and just kind of knowing who you are. And I know that's such a hard one, because I know not everyone gets that right off the bat. And like, that's almost when I would say, if you can't nurture yourself, it's like nurture those around you. Like if you don't have that purpose and drive to like go forward, just being kind and like helping other people with their purpose. Like I have one friend who, she is not sure what she wants to do at all, but she helps me so much, and she gets so much satisfaction from that kind of gives her the inspiration and power to like go forward in her own kind of dreams and goals. And so I just think if you can't do it for yourself right now, help someone else, and that's going to kind of radiate back to you and then help you kind of go forward.
Okay, damn, that was a good answer.
I kind of was.
You're like, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. Okay, and then my last question was, what would be your biggest piece of advice when it comes to tuning into your intuition and being like your own inner cheerleader?
Ooh, inner cheerleader, I like that.
Yeah. Is that like when you go on Pinterest, is that like what gives you that
No,
inner
like
cheerleader?
actually, like even if I don't want to clean my room, I go on Pinterest and I go like pretty rooms, and I just look, because I think there's kind of something healthy about idolizing someone else's life. As much as someone will say, focus on yourself, blah, blah, blah. Sure, great. But it's not going to propel you forward if you're just stagnant and you're complacent in what you're like doing. So if I see like pretty things, I'm like, I could do that to my bathroom, and I could do that, and then that gets me up. So it's like finding the inspiration and like the fire and passion, because sometimes we get like bored with ourselves. Like I get bored with myself all the time. I'm like, I'm bored. I need something of someone else's. Like especially, I think also because the way we work is we're focused on ourselves so much of the time.
It's so true.
You're like, I'm exhausted. Like self-awareness, great, but like I'm bored of myself.
It's too much. It's like you get kind of tired of hearing your own voice.
Yes. Oh my God. You're like, yes, we get it. This was your problem yesterday and Thursday and Tuesday. So what are we doing differently? We're not? Okay, great. Let's just not do this right now.
Right? I think the thing with social media influencers, and myself included, is that we get so wrapped up in ourselves because we're constantly just with ourselves. Like, we explain ourselves 10 times in just different translations.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
Okay, but wait, tying it back to inner cheerleader.
Okay.
You think that seeing other, I could see that, because if you were just like only are in your own field, you'll never know where you grow to. Like, we have to look to others to see what the next steps are.
Absolutely. Like, that's how we evolve. That's how we evolve our skill set and how we evolve as people, like connections with other people, right? And so that can be, going on Pinterest and looking, or just having coffee with a friend and hearing their stories. Like, I always feel inspired by other people, and just like listening to other people's stories, it totally propels you forward.
Right.
I need to put in this inner cheerleader thing. Let me think. Inner cheerleader. Mine's like, if you don't do this, you're not gonna feel happy with yourself at all. So it's like a threat. Like,
but it kind of what you said earlier too about like seeing somebody else and being like, I can do this. Like,
everyone inspires each other, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's so amazing. And like, you can see someone else doing something, you're like, I could do that, but I also have my own thing, and I want to kind of reach their level of success. And it's not in like, I don't know, I feel like everyone gets so consumed with this, like, oh, you're jealous of this person, or they're jealous, or they're jealous. It's like, why can't we just be inspired, like, to take the next step forward? If they're going, I'm going. There's enough success and room for everyone.
There actually is, and that is such a thing, I feel like, when it comes to, and it's funny because yours is all about following your intuition and being confident, and I feel like that's huge in this, because I think that a lot of the times people will see someone else's confidence and feel threatened by it, but in a lot of ways it's like, look at that confidence and be like, wow, like, I want to feel that confident, I want to feel that good, and then like that radiates outwards. That makes inner cheerleaders in everybody.
And like, that's basically my quote. Like, it's
yeah,
the
that
whole
really
idea.
is.
Because when I was little, like, I remember being good at a lot of things, and my mom like has always been like, I have to give so much credit to her. She is like the ultimate cheerleader. She's just fantastic. She teaches like parenting and nurturing, so she really knows like how to kind of raise me. And like, we did a lot of like those Dove self-esteem like workshop booklet things, and so all these silly things. So she was always like building me up, but like in a very true way, not just like blowing smoke up my ass, but like recognizing like my light and recognizing my potential and everything. Right. And so I think that is so huge, because she saw that, so then I saw that. And then growing in the sports world, like, you either win or you lose, so you kind of also become a little bit more objective, because I've always been really sensitive to the idea of like participation trophies and like that whole millennial helicopter parent thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And my parents were never that. They would call me out on my bullshit, and they would like really raise me up in like things that I was doing well. And so I feel like for myself, I became very objective with myself, and I like to be good at things. So it's not just enough to be confident. Like, I feel like you need a talent or a skill to like kind of back it up. Right. And so that's always been like really important for me. So I'm like, okay, if my liner is super straight and my blend is perfect, I feel like I've produced good work, so now I feel confident, because it doesn't matter what anyone else is thinking about it. I'm like looking at it, and if I'm happy and satisfied with what I'm doing, then I'm confident and I'm happy.
Okay, I love that. So basically just like own your shit.
Yeah, own your shit.
Own your shit, do what you're good at, and that'll like build that inner cheerleader.
Love that.
Thank you a ton for coming on the Coffee Talk podcast and on the Koze channel.
I forgot this was
I know, we kind of forgot the video was being filmed, so I'll leave all of Megan's credentials down below, and if you're listening via podcast, then do you want to just name off your tags?
Oh my god. Okay, everything's just Meghan Victoria X, so that's on Instagram and YouTube, and my website is meghanvictoriaartistry.com.
Awesome. And then, so you guys, you can go check her out, and aside from that, thank you for coming again.
Thank you, this was so much fun!